Test. Testing. Testing 1, 2, testing. Test Ickles, testing Ickles, test Ickles. Welcome everyone to episode 748 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Slaycast, Slutcast, and Taintcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Welcome to the Gain Train. Welcome to Pumptown. Welcome to Swole Lake City, Glue Top, Papa Swolio. If I say swole me daddy, would it be wrong? Probably. It probably would be, but I won't be offended. I actually kind of like it. So it's all good. So you can definitely say swole me daddy. It's just a little bit fucking weird. But that's fine. That's fine. Like I'm open to it. I'm open to it. I can play with that. I can play with that. We could do that. That can happen. That can happen. That is happening. Apparently that did happen. So, okay, that's a thing. That's a thing. What's going on, Quadcast? Welcome to episode 748, fam. Welcome to 748. How am I coming through? Am I coming through large? Am I coming through swole? Am I coming through right and tight? So if that's the case, just give me some biceps, float some biceps for the gain train, the beard, the man train, and we'll jump right into this episode. 748. It is Thursday. It is Thursday, May 24th. It is Thursday, May 24th. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling large. And I think I'm going to feel a little bit bigger later because I made some sweet potatoes, fam. I made some sweet potatoes and I got them in my brand new oven. Brand new oven. Thank fucking God. I use the old toaster oven. I use the old toaster oven technique so I don't heat up the entire house because I'm always really the only thing that I make is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes and beef, that's like what I cook. And I don't usually always do it myself. So that's like what I do and something quick and something easy. So I always use a toaster oven for my sweet peats. And those of you that are in Swolenormous X, you know that the new recipe archive that just dropped has my sweet potato recipe, which is very simple, but it's what I do. It's what I do. And I got a brand new oven and it was awesome. And it was awesome. And for some reason, when you go to the supermarket and they obviously don't have they don't have their shipment in for all the produce, right? You're getting like the last of the barrel, just the fucking ugliest fruit, the ugliest onions, just the shit that no one wanted. The shit that nature's just natural selection forgot or hasn't gotten to yet. Like just these massive, oversized, non-functional sweet potatoes, just this weird, huge one side is absolutely massive, the other side is skinny, and it's just so much bigger and disproportionate than it had to be. I mean, how many of you eat sweet potatoes or any kind of regular, I guess white potatoes don't really do that, but sweet potatoes, since it's a root or it's one of those type things, you get the weirdest looking, shaped, funky sweet potatoes sometimes, and they're usually the last ones that the supermarket couldn't sell. And they didn't have their new sweet potato shipment in, so I got these ugly fucking ones, but this brand new toaster is so big and it's huge. It's an Oster. This is not a sponsored. This is not sponsored by this toasting company, but it was a really good toaster oven and fucking just cooked these massive the things that would never fit in a toaster oven before. Welcome to the inside of my life. That's my day, fam. That's my day. So tell me what's up. What's going on with all of you? And yeah. So what was I talking about? What was I saying about the sweet potatoes? Oh, because the brand new recipe archive. So that was my day. So I got the brand new toaster, made the carbs, and a lot of you always ask me what I eat for my carbohydrate, and I love sweet potatoes. If you've never tried them, try them. Jump on that shit. What's going on, Russell, on YouTube? What's up, Papa Swolio? What up, fam? I eat lots of sweet potatoes. Good man. Good man. A man after my own heart. Heather, I love sweet potatoes and they look funky as hell. Sometimes you get good ones. Sometimes you get good ones that look like an actual potato, but then sometimes you get these ones that just literally look like a tree branch. or veiny, like veiny on the inside. You see the veins running on the outside. Why does my sweet potato have to look like a huge cock? That's just so unnecessary. But sometimes they do. And usually it's the ones that are last in the supermarket. That's usually the ones that are last. Bro, for real, when you talk about discipline and just going to the gym, for me, just got to go and work out. Yeah, I haven't worked out in 2 days, fam. I didn't work out yesterday and I didn't work out today. And I've been on a roll. What I've really been into more than ever before. And you know how I talk about yoga and mobility all the time and the functional strength and balancing out the body and creating that type of foundational functionality and that foundational postural alignment, that foundational balance. And so many people just go to the gym and lift heavy, and just worry about high intensity and crushing themselves and doing all the things that lead down the path of injury, lead down the path of resistance, but resistance in the future. And compounded with bad nutrition, poor training habits can lead the same direction. And a lot of people, either if they exercise improperly and they add more stress to their lives and this, that, and the other. So when it comes to just getting to the gym, just getting to the gym, that's the goal. Make that the goal. I've been struggling getting to the gym myself sometimes consistently, but my passion has been shifting from just lifting and all this high intensity that we're just talking about. Everyone's always trying to go harder, go heavier, push themselves. They're not eating right or they're damaging their body physically. I'm getting more and more into the meditation, more into the yoga as meditation, but really going further that direction. I've been more and more, and I've just been feeling more balanced and more even keel throughout my entire day. Nothing has changed my life more. That's why I always talk about it. Really. That's why I always talk about yoga. That's why I talk about meditation so often. That's why I talk about the psychological aspect, because you want to look a certain way, right? You want to look a certain way. You want to have muscles. You want to have abs. And I get that. We always, as human beings or as creatures, we are as creatures, we concern ourselves with the aesthetics, right? As creatures, we concern ourselves with how we look, with those aesthetics. And when we ignore our brain controls our muscles. Our brain controls our muscles. Our brain is what tells our muscles to contract. Our brain is doing all of that. And so it's so much more powerful, right? Your bicep doesn't deal with your quad, really. You know what I mean? Your forearm muscles don't deal with your calves directly. Your forearm doesn't just send a message to your calves. It's your brain. The forearm sends information to the brain and the calf sends information to the brain. So we're focusing on the muscles and developing our individual muscles, and we don't focus enough on the control system that focuses on all the muscles. The brain is so much more powerful. Not to mention that it deals with the organs, it deals with hormones. If you unlock and you start tapping into the power of your brain, that is what will change everything for you. And let me explain this a little bit. And what I've learned from getting deeper and deeper into practicing my own meditation. And I've had so many people say, "Well, you're so focused on your videos about being fat and people getting off their ass and fitness is life." And that video that I have at the top of my page, pinned to the top, "Fitness is life," and has millions and millions of views. A lot of people say, "Well, you have your brain. What do you say for people in a wheelchair? Your brain." It's mental fitness. I don't I don't say do my forearm exercises. I always do. I don't say that you should only have physical fitness. Mental fitness is a thing. Float some hearts and some comments. Like, what do you think? Do you think mental fitness exists? I think it does. I think all fitness is mental because the brain controls the muscles. I think all fitness is mental. It's almost insulting to the brain to separate the two. It's almost insulting to the brain to separate the body from the mind, as in two different categories, as if we have two different types of fitness. So if the brain controls the muscles, and so the brain does everything. Fitness is the brain. So if you relax the brain, you can relax the muscles. If you strengthen the brain, you can strengthen the muscles. Of course, just by meditating, you're not going to get absolutely huge, but you can unlock a lot of stuff in the brain. Yeah, you need the mental. You can't survive without your brain. We all know one flew over a cuckoo's nest. We learned, we learned from Jack. If you get a frontal lobotomy and you cut off a little piece of your brain, you are a vegetable. You are a vegetable if you get that piece cut off. However, if you lose a finger, you're fine. If you lose an arm, you're fine. If you lose two arms, you're fine. You could lose your legs too. You're fine. And when I say fine, obviously you're not ideal. Okay. You have a lot of limitations and you're going to have physical struggles, but you're still alive. You cut off your brain, you're a vegetable. You can't live with half your brain. You can't even live with like 5% of your brain gone or whatever, how much a lobotomy is. I don't really know. So if you're mentally strong, if you're mentally strong, you could be physically strong. Think about what meditation is or what the brain does. The brain perceives pain. One of the famous things about the Navy SEALs, as you'll hear from a lot of these Navy SEALs that have a lot of these Navy SEALs, I think, like was it Jocko Willink? He has a podcast. A lot of people have these inspirational podcasts and do public speaking because Navy SEALs are looked at as these these ultimate badasses that can go through such physical duress and survive. Like, what does it take? What does it take? What's the secret? What's the secret? And he says they just don't quit. And that's something that I've mentioned before on this podcast is that they just don't quit. And if you just don't quit, if you make it that simple, just don't quit, you will make amazing progress. And there's so many times when you can quit. And if you look at what progress actually looks like with ups and downs and successes and failures, being on top, then being on the bottom, then rising back up, and then losing and winning and losing and winning, you realize that all each of those losses are those down points are just periods where your body or life is giving you an opportunity to quit, to say, okay, fuck this. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. And I guess the real question is, are you really done or are you just tired? Are you up inside your head? Do you really want what you want? Because you really don't succeed until you fail. And you have to fail and fail and fail until you succeed. You don't just win. You don't learn anything from winning. You learn from losing. You learn from your failures. You don't learn from your successes. You learn from what you miss. You learn from where you fall short. You learn from all those times when you don't win or succeed. So, meditation for me and doing yin yoga. And if you don't know that there are many different types of yoga, well, first off, whenever someone asks me what I just posted a video on Facebook and YouTube, the latest Swole Motion 126, that whenever someone asks me what the best exercise is, I get people asking me that all the fucking time. What's the best exercise? Papa Swolio, what's the best exercise? There is none. There's no best of anything in this world. There is no best. You'll have some people that say Toyotas are the best because they're so reliable, or whatever car of your choice, whatever you want, whatever you think is from your experience the best, most reliable, and that's the best car. And some people will say, well, the Ferrari is the best car because it's so beautiful and the engine, the horsepower, and the weight and the aerodynamic, whatever. And then someone will be neutral and say, well, they're all the best because they get you from point A to point B. What's the best? Are you going off-roading? Then you need an SUV, or you don't want a Porsche to go off-roading, you need an SUV. Are you in the desert? Are you on a hard surface? Are you on a bumpy surface? Are you on a flat surface? Is it raining? Is it snowing? All those conditions, right? So what makes anything the best, right? How can you say what the best car is? You can't. It's impossible because in each different situation, there's a best, there's an optimal of that one in that, whatever that situation calls for. So there's no best unless you know the situation at hand and you can actually have context for that. The idea that your mental game doesn't have to be as strong or doesn't need as much attention is a complete lie if anyone says that to you, and it's something that's completely overlooked in all aspects of athletics in middle school, high school, college, weight training. No one talks about the brain game. Everyone will like to say and throw around the words neuromuscular and efficiency and coordination and proprioception and stabilization. I use those words too. They're very descriptive and they're correct. But what about controlling the mind, right? What about controlling the mind and helping yourself clear out the clutter, get rid of the clutter? And my best way of explaining it is because since I've been doing my meditation, since I've been practicing and getting much more intense with it. And it's really once you start turning it up, like you get into it, you appreciate it. But once you really start applying it and making an active effort to focus on a skill and put effort into it, don't just do it to create a habit, do it to get better at it and start investing more time. Like, geez, dog just coughed or sneezed, scared the shit out of me. So if you want to get great at bodybuilding, right? If you want to get great at lifting, if you want to get really big and just experience and maximize your skill in that area, what do you have to do? What do you have to do? You got to really go all in. You have to go all in. You have to rearrange your schedule and prioritize your fat loss or your muscle growth, right? The reason why I have a physique today is because I got obsessed with it and I went all in. I put all my effort into it. It was number one priority and it paid off. It worked. But that's because I gave it that kind of focus and that kind of attention, right? I really went hard and I really went all in. In this situation, there are apps and there are programs that are very, very good that will create that habit of doing it daily. Okay. And I talk about it myself. It's important to do it daily. It's important to be consistent and be disciplined and build that discipline, right? You're not going to be disciplined from the beginning, but you have to build that discipline. So I talk a lot about doing it daily. And I think it's great. It's like coats of paint, right? You don't just slap it on thick. It's going to drip. It's going to look shitty. It's going to be discolored. So you're going to have to really be consistent with it. So that being said, if you and myself, if I take this opportunity to, okay, step back and refocus, if I step back and refocus my focus, right? If I just refocus what I'm putting my most energy into, I don't think it's necessarily helping me as much as it did because where I am at now and what I want now and what I need in my life for fitness now is different than what I needed 10 years ago. It's different than what I needed 5 years ago. So, what I've been doing is I shifted the priority ladder around. And I want you to understand that you can do this. You can change your mind. You can change your opinion. You can change your own personal programming and your direction very quickly on a dime. A lot of you have so much more control over what you can get from your training and what you can get out of your life because you are stuck in this box. You're not thinking outside. You don't realize how easy it is to make changes. It's just the actual act of doing it. But you can. Anytime you want, you can make some of these changes. So if you think about you're ordering something on a ladder, I just took the yoga and meditation and I moved it to the top. I moved it above weight training. So it doesn't mean that I won't lift weights. It doesn't mean I won't lift weights hard. It doesn't mean I won't do my bodybuilding. It doesn't mean I won't do that. That's not what I'm saying. It just means that if today I have a choice, okay, it's getting late. I don't really have a lot of time. I need to have a few more things to do. I'll do It's either yoga and mobility and some meditation here, or I can go to the gym and lift. I do the yoga and I do the meditation, I do the stuff here. I don't go to the gym and lift. If I have time to do both, then I'll do both. No worries. But I'm not going to do one without, I'm not going to do the lifting without the other. So I moved it up on the priority scale, which is interesting. And it will mean that I'll be lifting a little bit less frequently. I'm sure. I'm sure just like because today I had more limited time. So I opted to do my meditation and some stretching, and I'll probably do some more later and whatnot. And that's how I'm developing and that's how I'm changing. And that doesn't, okay, so I might not be lifting 6 days a week. Maybe I'm going to be going back to four. It depends. It depends. It depends on just my other schedule. So if my schedule is consistent and I can, have a little bit more freedom at certain points, then I might be doing both. I'll be doing double. But it's not really double, I'm not working out, but I'm balancing, creating that balance. And if you're always lifting and you're always at this high intensity with your work, how many of you have kids? Float some comments and some hearts or whatever, but how many of you have kids? How many of you have children? How many of you have children and then you're trying to, prioritize you have those kinds of response like you're not going to be able to you're going to have days that you're more free, weeks that you're more free, situations that will inconvenience you. You have 4 old ones, So I know we have a lot more. I have 5. Man, you've all been putting in work, huh? Sheesh. 4 or 5? Who wants to have that many fucking kids? Who wants to have that many kids? I'm highly debating 1. 5? I have 2 young children, 4 and 1, and I work out 4 times a week. So you can definitely do it. We all know that. You can definitely do it. 7 to 16 age, I go to the gym every other day. You can do it. You can make it happen, but you have other priorities now. So my point is your situation in life is different than where I am in that sense, but relative to your situation before you had them. So then your priorities change. So all of a sudden, once you have kids, your priority ladder gets shifted around a lot out of necessity because now the gym is your kid. The gym is my bitch. I don't know what kind of training you do, Brohim. The gym is my beesh. And that's an interesting conversation over on Instagram. The fungus among us for, but I try to prioritize my fitness for their sake. That is what's important. That's how you keep fitness in your life. So for example, okay, so we have the conversation about priority shifting. And the big one is you have kids, and a lot of people will blame their kids for not getting in shape or blame their kids for their own health. And that's rude. That's rude and that's not fair, right? The kids didn't choose to be born. You made that choice, or maybe you didn't make that choice, but you had the kid. Okay. They didn't choose to do, and then you're blaming your shortcomings or your lack of time awareness and prioritizing. So if you're working, if you have kids, that's going to be your priority. Obviously, you're going to feed your child. If it's a choice between feeding your child or going to the gym, like, okay, feed your child. Like, okay, my kid can eat tomorrow. I'm going to work out anyway. No, you feed your kid. That's the priority. But when you but that's a very easy way for fitness to get lost completely. And instead of moving fitness to 1 rung down, you start kicking it down 10, 15 rungs and you're not working out at all. So then you have kids and then all of a sudden you're not working out. If you keep in your mind that you are doing your fitness for your kids, it bumps it right up back to just under your children as your top priority because your fitness is your life and you being alive is you being there for your kids and enjoying your children, right? So if you love your kids, don't you want to be healthy and alive so you can enjoy them and be around with them to see them grow and do all their things, right? And protect them and teach them and just be a fucking alive. You can't really You can't have a great life and have kids if you're not alive. And if you're not healthy, then you're affecting yourself being alive. They also now eat and follow the plant paradox with me. Ah, good for them. Good for them. How's it going? How's it going as a family prepping their food and for everyone that thinks it's so hard to make all these foods and to feed their children healthy things on Instagram? How challenging is it? What do you feed them? What do you feed them? Yeah, so if you focus on your fitness, but if you're when you go to the gym, a lot of you might feel, okay, well, I'm going to the gym. I am sacrificing. Okay, how about this? A big challenge that I see is a lot of parents sacrifice don't go to the gym because they feel that when they go to the gym, they're sacrificing time away from their family. How many of you feel that or have felt that before? And your thoughts on that? That if you go to the gym, you are sacrificing time that you could be spending with your family. I hear that a lot. But how do you explain not taking care of your health and then dying and losing years off your life in which you could spend with your family? The hour you might spend going to the gym for your health might give you back 5 years or 10 years at the end of your life in which you can spend with your kids. Would you say, "Hey, do you wanna lose 10 years off spending?" No, you would never say that. It's only gonna cost you 1 hour a few days a week. Let's say an hour a day. I mean, fucking respect your life. You spend an hour for your health every day, a half hour for your health every single day. It's hard for you to find that half hour, but you make it happen no matter what, and you do that, and you have that half hour for you, and that's for you and for no one else. You take half an hour a day, 100% focus on your well-being and your health. You know how much of a difference that would make? Half a fucking hour? How many of you watch an episode of Friends without thinking about it? That's half an hour, and you're sitting on your fat ass. What about moving? What about moving? What about meditating? What about doing some yoga? Half an hour. Fucking half an hour. All right. So 30 minutes times seven. What is that? 210. So every week was that 3 hours a week? Three and a half? What's the math on that, right? All right. Like 3.5 hours or so. That's all you, 3.5 hours. You don't have 3.5 hours a week. You don't have half an hour a day. Do the math. Do the math. Half an hour divided by 24 hours. That's a small percentage. All right. What is it? It's not 10%, is 200. It's like 1%, something like that. Super low. No, it's small. Fuck math. You don't have a couple hours out of the week for your kids. Take them to the daycare and the gym. They'll enjoy their time while you increase your lifespan. Agreed? It's not hard. My kids love broccoli cooked in grass fed butter. Kids will eat what you feed them. Oh, isn't that the truth? I always say when I have kids, I'm gonna be like one of those 1950s parents. You don't eat what I make, you fucking go to sleep, you're not eating. "Oh, but daddy." No, eat your fucking food, varmint. My sister has the kids, but she started including the workouts to help them as well. Kids love yoga, by the way. I wake up Justin Garcia on YouTube's. I wake up at 3:30 AM, drive an hour to the gym, and get in 2 hours before I have to be at work at 7:30. That's gangster, bro. Good for you. My youngest kid has a blood disease that now at 12 has joint pain. Oh, that's brutal. So all my kids are doing the diet with me. Good. Good for you. Good for you. Make a big difference. Make a big difference. You can do yoga at the park while your kids play. You sure can. Swole, what up, Mark? What up, Beach? So your priorities will shift as you get older. Your priorities will shift. What's number one in your life now is going to be a different number one in 10 years. And when you have kids, obviously that number one makes a huge shift. My God, kids, boring. Have a good day. Boring for what? For the show or having kids is boring? Then say something valuable. Speak up. But your priorities are going to change. Your priorities are going to change. That's the most important thing to understand, no matter what, whether you're talking about kids, whether you're talking about your business, your job, what you want, what makes you interested. When you're 15, you want to get older so you can drink. When you're 40, you wish you were 15. You're always going to want something you don't have. And as you get older, what is number one shifts and it makes everything different. But you have to be cognizant of that. I used to be a D1 athlete in my country playing soccer, then injury after injury. So studies are the most essential. What do you mean by is studying? Oh, no, school? Nah, you could self-educate unless you absolutely have to be in school for the profession that you want. I mean, don't education happens in real life, not in this not in a classroom. Even when you go to medical school, everything you learn is in residency. Everything you learn is in residency. Everything you learn is like in 4th year when you're actually out in the world. That's the real shit. School is more important than exercising. Oh, no, that's no, no, I don't believe that at all. Not at all. Education, that's the word you have to use, not school. Education. Life is school. School is an arbitrary method of someone brainwashing you and telling you what to think. Education, yes, education and learning and knowledge and the thirst for learning, that is important. You could do that on Google. You could learn everything you need to know on any subject without learning the stuff you don't need to know. And that's called a Google search. That's called a Google search. I know what you meant. I know what you mean by school, but life is school, right? You learn. I've learned so much more outside of school than I have inside of school. I guarantee it. And everyone here has too. They don't tell you what it's like to. They don't tell you what it's like to do taxes. They don't tell you what it's like to have kids. You can't teach that shit. You fucking kidding me? You can't teach like the first job you get, or you can't teach the feeling when you get fired, or you can't teach the feeling of, I don't know. They don't teach you shit getting into like a physical fight. They don't teach you that shit. You get into fights in school, but they don't teach you about fighting. They don't teach you about anger management and how to defend yourself from people. I mean, they don't teach you this shit. School doesn't teach you how to be a human being in life. That's why everyone gets fucked over. It teaches you almost exactly the opposite of what you need to know in life. School. It literally pretty much practically teaches you everything that doesn't fucking matter. Creative writing. Hey, let's live in a fantasy world. Okay, well, can you teach me how to hunt? It's like dropping someone off on an island and saying, "Hey, we're not going to teach you how to hunt or how to get fresh water, but here's why Beethoven's second was an inspirational, piece of music written at this time frame because of the political climate in, post-revolutionary France." Who gives a fuck? The significance. The significance is that it's a good song for old people and for people that lived in the 1700s. No one gives a fuck about the political climate in post-revolutionary France. It doesn't matter. It's 2018, bitches. Teach me what I need to know fucking today. School sucks. Sucks. Most education fucking blows. Most, not all. And I say education, I mean school type education. Most of it sucks. And that's my opinion. I know a lot of you believe or agree with me, but school teaches you to be an employee. Absolutely. Teaches you to follow the leader. Do what daddy says. Gym should be a school subject. Well, fuck gym. Lifting and health and fitness and stuff. Yoga should be a school. Can you imagine if you have a school? You know how easy it would be to keep kids more relaxed during the day? Instead of homeroom first thing in the morning or in the afternoon, nap time, have them do yoga. Schools should be implementing daily yoga classes as part of the curriculum or daily meditation. Teach them young. Can you imagine? You'd have no fighting. You'd have no fighting, no kids getting, speaking out of turn. Just serve healthier foods and teach them meditation and yoga and then teach them whatever the fuck else you want to teach them. You'd have like zero detentions. Home economics. Yeah, right. Well, the feminists got rid of that. You can't teach, home ec. Who needs to learn how to cook? Yeah, I know. Doesn't make sense. Well, if it's if you're insulting, if it's insulting to women, right? If you have home ec, and that's why they got rid of the carpentry, right? Well, nowadays, all of a sudden, you have machine and woodworking and wood shop. Now, actually learning a skill is looked down upon. But I think obviously tech and technology and all that stuff is really important. I think Finland is doing yoga over detention working great, probably. All those countries are so much further ahead than us on that level. You think yoga is essential? Absolutely. I don't think you should be lifting weights without doing yoga. And I wish I knew about yoga when I started lifting weights. I found out later on, like most people, that come at it from a lifting standpoint. Absolutely. I think I shouldn't say essential. When you say essential, that means like you need to. You don't have to, but once you start doing it, you'll realize that it is essential. JT Robinson. Oh, man. Thank you, sir. Real quick, the 90-day dash increased my gym routines like nothing before. My older routines are now like a warm up. All aspects of my lifting, stretching, and overall mobility is fucking sick now. Kicked my ass and allowed me to take it to the next level. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. If you had schools had yoga and healthy food, you wouldn't need to spend, yeah, you wouldn't have ADHD. I know. I know. I know. Could you replace it with stretching? No. No, you can't. Yoga is not stretching. That's a huge misconception. Yoga is not stretching. Shop was my favorite class. Well, it's functional. Having exercise activity helps the brain for the education. It sure does. It sure does. I remember in high school, every time I didn't exercise or, get exhausted after, let's say, playing wiffle ball with my friends or basketball, whatever it was after school, then I just didn't want to do my homework. I didn't focus on it, and I kind of left it till last minute. Whenever I did it, I was exhausted, came home, and I did my work, and I went to sleep. Do you know what who re No, I don't know who that is. Let's see. Yeah, fam. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It would solve a lot of issues. It would solve a lot of issues. So, yeah, fam, like, look at where you are. Look at where you are with your fitness, look at where you are with your focus, and adjust. You're not gonna know everything right now. And what keeps so many people from seeing amazing progress is that they just don't start. They just don't start. They wait because they think that there's the right way for them, that they're going to figure it out, that they're all of a sudden going to know what exactly to do. You're going to start doing something for 6 months, and then you might try a certain exercise. You might try yoga and realize this is the best thing I've ever tried in my life. I want more. All I want to do is yoga. Maybe become a yogi. You don't know where you're going to go. You don't know where you're going to go. And to ignore the brain, to ignore the mind, to ignore that, you're missing what is the control center for your entire body. You're missing what handles everything. That's the big cheese. That's the head honcho. It's upstairs. It's upstairs. It's all up top. And that is what you need to focus on. If you're focusing on the right things, it's like dominoes. And that's the biggest domino. And what I see in the comments is that most of you or many of you embrace yoga or you have since discovering it. No one really does yoga and has something negative to say about it. And those that do have something negative to say about it are usually the ones that need it the most and can't relax into it. Oh, it's too slow for me. It's too still. You're the one that needs it the most. That's the interesting thing. A lot of people don't think they need yoga. They think it's too slow. They think they can't relax into it. That's the point. You need it badly. And I'm going to make a point that I wanted to that I wanted to mention before. I'll take this comment or question first. Cat Smith on Facebook, you seem so calm and patient every time consistently. Do you credit that because of yoga and meditation? Everything. Everything. Yeah, in a huge way in general, but I'm saying in all aspects of my life. And the reason why meditation is so important, and I want you to imagine. Oh, and I was saying I've been working. I wouldn't say more efficiently. I don't want to say I've been working more efficiently because I've actually been working a little bit less. But I'm focusing on the most important things, and I'm focusing on the most important things because now I actually know what the most important things I need to focus on are. And I equate that to meditation because if you think of your brain as a big haystack, you might, s- you've heard the phrase needle in a haystack. It's like finding a needle in the haystack or a needle in a haystack. And that's not going to happen. You're not going to find that needle, but maybe you don't have to find that needle. I want you to think about this. You don't have to find that needle. All you have to do is remove the hay. And the brain works like that as well. You'll have good ideas, you have the clarity, you have the things that are most important as needles under or in a big haystack in your brain. So the what how meditation works is it removes the hay, it removes the cloud, it removes the dust, it removes all the noise around the important shit. It removes all the stuff around the needles. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it takes the hay away, right? Like it evaporates and you don't have problems anymore or those things don't exist, but it moves them aside or it makes them more or less or it changes the opacity, right? Like it's more blurred, like you get rid of it. You can see through it. You see it for what it is. How about that? You see it as it is. You see the noise, you see the sounds you hear and the things that you look at and all the things you notice the non-important things for being non or unimportant. You're noticing that. You notice that as it's supposed to be noticed. That's been the biggest thing that I've found with the meditation is that it exposes stupid dumb shit for what it is and changes your perspective and my perspective on those stupid dumb things. And my mind is not cluttered by all the noise because that noise is there, but I observe it as noise rather than internalize it and get stressed. That is the beauty of it. And if your brain can focus on the most important things because it doesn't have clutter, think of how much better you do those things. Think of how much more clarity and focus and attention and strength you have. And if the muscle controls or the brain controls the muscle, then tension in the muscle is also in turn controlled by the brain's output, by the brain's positive or negative energy. And that doesn't get spiritual, but I mean positive and negative energy as means as tension when there's no need for tension. And if you can mentally relax and shut off and sift through that bullshit and get rid of the noise, it'll make you better for every aspect of your life. And that's huge. That's huge for well-being. That's huge for disease. That's huge for health. That's huge for you being a good communicator with your spouse or with your friends or with your parents or your sister, with anyone, with at school, at work. It changes everything. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And yeah, I meditated today. Fuck yeah, I did. And fuck yeah, I'm gonna get my pump on tomorrow. Fuck yeah, I am. I'm gonna get huge tomorrow. But and it's gonna get better every day. It's gonna get better every day. You're gonna do better. You're gonna find your path and you're gonna find what works best for you with your training, with your nutrition. However, you got to give some things a chance. You have to expose yourself to new things. You have to try. And because you're trying, you have to expect to fail or to struggle or for it to be awkward, for it to be not easy. And welcome to the show. That's how fucking life is. So, in closing, fam, those of you and float some hearts and thumbs, rock on. I'm glad. Thank you for watching. I want to say hi to all the Swolenormous X members. If you're interested in my nutrition and programming, swolenormousx.com, sponsor of every episode of the Game Train. Oh, oh, oh. And I wanted to make an announcement in case you are watching. Don't forget to check out the brand new Swole Food Recipe Archive. is the archive for all the food that I eat. So I'm putting all my recipes, all the foods and my preparation, so ingredients and prep, directions on preparation. And I eat simple. And of course, I always recommend, like, if you are a member of X, that you do the nutrition jumpstart first, and you read all the content and watch the master classes on the elimination and how to determine which foods are best for you. But I'm keeping it simple and just sharing what I do personally. So it's not like, hey, eat these foods, you'll look like me. No, that's not how it works. But I'm sharing that so you get some ideas on some foods that maybe if you're doing your own specific style of eating and you have your own habit and your own foods that work for you, and you see something that aligns with your goals and what you know about yourself, it's good shit. So it's always good to have ideas and to, things that can fix cravings. And, really, if you're eating the right foods, you don't get cravings. And that's something that I found too when you're really eating the nutrients and the foods that are best for your body that you like and that your body responds to, you don't get cravings. You don't get it. Heather, love the show. Thank you. Thank you. Fitness all day, every day, taking questions and interacting, going deep, balls deep here on the show. So make sure you're always coming in. Let me know. We're always gonna go over like some of the things, some of the latest, you know, tips, tricks, nutrition, programming. So if you're new to watching the Daily Swole, always talk about either programming, nutrition, corrective exercise, yoga, mobility, training psychology. There's so many topics covered here. So if you have anything that you want to lay down, just come on in. If you just want to drop some muscles in the fucking comments, that's fine too. But if you want to join, there's a couple things we'll go over right now. If you are not a member of the Daily Swole Club, that's my club on Messenger. Just go over to my Facebook page at Swolenormous and send me a message. You'll get more information on joining the Daily Swole Club. You get some little nukes every day. I'll drop a little exercise breakdown or a recipe or some inspirational content, program design stuff every single day on Messenger, exclusive, private, and special deals and special, giveaways and things like that. So go over there to my Facebook page, send me a message. You can check me out on YouTube. New vlog is up, new training vlog, new drive mode gaining is going to be coming in a couple days. And those of you that are in Swolenormous X, programs, nutrition, full yoga classes, recipes, all that stuff. Those of you that are in it already, new recipe archive, go check it out. You can check it out at the top of the page in your main menu in your library. And those of you that are interested in any of that stuff, just go to swolenormousx.com for the deets. Good evening, Mr. Swole. Good evening, Steve. Good evening. They should cast you as the next Thor. Oh, no, I don't do Marvel. I don't watch that stuff. They're all the same. But Deadpool 2 is funny as fuck, though. That was funny. That was funny. All right, fam. Thank you so much for joining for episode 748 of The Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gaincast, mancast, pimpcast, slaycast, nipcast, and absolute overall jackcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. I will see you all in Swolenormous X. Peace, McGee's fam. A deuce, Magoose. A Papa Swole. Oh, 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 oh. Out. Later, fam. Thanks for watching on the Quadcast, Twitch, twitch.tv/Swolenormous. Thanks for watching, Instagram, YouTube, and the Facebook. And remember, catch all the podcasts, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Overcast, Twitcher, Stitcher, wherever you want to follow. You can follow me on Twitter too. Whatever you want to follow Papa Swolio, check me out. Ears, eyes, mouth, gains everywhere. Peace out. Later, fam. Thank you. Fantastic live show. Thank you, Aneri. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Insta. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Facebook. Lates Magates. Go check out the vlog I just posted. Drop a comment below, like, share, and float some buys. Don't try to get by or you're gonna get trapped, dealt with.